Page 32, come back to Sorrento. It's actually a vocal piece. This is a nice piano solo arrangement of it. It has some challenges in it, some interesting things. So let's take a look. Now it starts out with one flat, that's D minor. If you look at the end of the second line, you see there's a natural sign in the staff. This is the very end of the line. There's a natural sign that takes the flat away, erases it, go away flat, and introduces two sharps. So we changed key signatures. Now we're in the key of D major, starting on the third line. We went from D minor to D major. I can do that, and then you stay in D major the rest of the time. It's kind of interesting. 3/4 time. It has some nice things in it. Look at the left hand. Two voices. You got to hold that down. You're finger pedaling the first note. And you do that a lot. In the third measure, you can do a 2-1 or a 3-2 if your hand's big and fun. So forth. So to start with, let's just play everything. Now I'm going to pretend like you've done the hands separately. Now we're putting the hands together. Because the fingering in the book is pretty good. I may make a change here and two. I usually do. Just at the beginning, just play everything connected. Here. Just make sure you hold that note down. Now these wavy lines, these arpeggiated chords, I put those in later. Right now just play a block chord. And we'll talk about I do the arpeggiation when I do the articulation. And right now I'm just connecting it. I'm just making sure the fingers and the notes and the rhythms are covered. I like to do this like one thing at a time or so. I'm pretending I've already done it one hand at a time and shorten this video up a little bit. Let's do the hands together. So it's here. Now, right hand you got to move it and come up here. Thumb on that. Got to come up again, and then the second hand is second finger here because I need to be flat and I want to connect it. And the right hand is second measure, second line here, and the left hand I want a fourth finger because I got to come all the way up to here. Just follow the fingering in the book, it's fine. Second line. In the second line, it's the last two, it's the first ending. Just find the first ending on the second line. The left hand, they're having fifth finger. They want you to hear. I recommend you stay more or less in this position and just change from here to here. Use third finger on that, not fifth finger. So the third measure going into the first ending, that to me is much easier than trying to do this. It's the same thing when you go to the second ending because it's the same note to here, here. Third finger there. Now on the third line, we ended the first line in the second ending here. They want you to hear. The idea is we need all these fingers. That means thumb's got to do all those F sharps. Sorry about that, but that's and that's fine. It's a bit choppy. Sounds choppy right now. That's okay. Don't worry about it because we will add pedal later. But right now, no pedal. Let's listen to this. What the hands do. And in the left hand, you're not finger pedaling that first note anymore. Just lift up. It's a slightly different atmosphere than the first two lines were. And we need that contrast, so that's okay. Now when you get to the fourth line, now you're back more like you were at the beginning, where you're finger pedaling and it's a little smoother connected. Now I recommend in the second measure, the last line, to 2 G's and right, do a 4-1. This way you're in position to go on. So, or second finger, whichever. So I'm going to do a 4-1. So again, at the beginning of the last line on page 32. Now you can use second finger there if you want. And then the top of page 33 is the same as what we had before, blah, blah, blah. Go to the second line on page 33. It's here. You're here. You ended first line here. Now here. You got to go from here to here. No, that's all right. Practice that if you have to, because the beat needs to be a steady beat at some speed. You can go slow. So by going on, it's one here. And here, the second line, third measure, add a G. There. Now, third line, it's 4. Third line, last measure, going into the fourth line. Look at this. Crossover. You just kind of pivot on that crossover. So you're here to here. That's all right. I mean, not really pivoting on it. You're going to move on it, but the idea is we do this quite a bit in piano where you come around. Now, if you'd rather another fingering, you can try on the last measure, the third line here in the right hand. Rather than 3, use 4. So it's, and then you can do a 1-2 for the fourth line if you'd rather, if that's more comfortable for you. Now here, hold that note down. This is the fourth line down, third measure. Here, connect with the hands and hold that down. Right there, you got all these notes down. You're going to hold that down in. And they put the fermata on that second beat. Hold that and then go on. So the third beat is 3 and go on. 3 and 1 and 3 and. So it's go on. You got to use second finger on each of these in the last line there. Look out. Second finger going down. Second finger there. And then here. They want thumb. That's fine. We kind of went back into D minor here. So. And for the last measure, I go from here and the next to the last measure to here. I pivot on the thumb and use second finger. Here. You can finger it in the, like they do in the book if you'd like, but I prefer that. Like so. So you got to get to where the hesitations are gone and the beat is steady at some speed. Then we can go in and add the articulation. And these arpeggiated chords, it's legato, it's connected. And there's a couple ways of doing the arpeggiated chords. People don't agree on how they should be done. I can't tell you this is right or that is right or whatever. Some people on the arpeggiated chord, they will play the top note on the beat. So it's to keep it in rhythm. So these, it's like a pickup. And they'll do them all that way. Other people, like me, play the bottom note on the beat. And the top note is delayed just a little bit. It's like a rubato. It just delays that melody note just a hair. It's a nice effect. So that's how I typically play the bottom note on the beat. You can play it however you think is right or however your teacher thinks is right. I'll leave that up to you. And the last measure on page 33, here, this chord, the whole thing is rolled, all 7 notes, one at a time. And again, I do the bottom note on the beat because there isn't, in this case, there isn't time to do them before the beat. Even with the retardando. So it's just 1 and 2 here. And how fast you roll depends on the music and the situation. On most of these, they're going to be fairly quick because it's moving. But at the end, when you slow down, you can also slow down the roll too. So go ahead and put in the phrasing in the right hand. The left hand, try and keep it as connected as you can. I mean, they're giving you some slurs over it, but connected. I'd connect it anyway, even without the slurs. So it's here. See here, lift up. Yeah, lift up to move anyways. It's like taking a breath. So forth. Add in the slurs. Third line down. You can't play that connected. I mean, you can play the top note connected if you, depending on how good. You can't play that connected, but you can connect these. I don't know how advanced you are, how much you're struggling, but if you can connect those notes, it's like here. I'm hanging on to that and lifting up here. That is a good skill to get eventually, but it's a little more advanced. You can't do that, don't worry about it, the pedal will connect it for you. But feel it, try and feel a connection here, it's legato, even if you don't play it legato. And the left hand you just boom, so play them as connected as you can. So forth. For the most part, that's the articulation. Dynamic, it goes to the melody, which is the right hand. Starts out soft. It's the top note on these chords, if you can. Espressivo comes later. That's expressively, play it expressively. You got to get all the mechanics out of the way first, so you can start getting into listening to it. If you can find recordings of somebody singing it, it may give you an idea how it might be expressed. So right now, just try and do it's soft, and keep the left hand very soft. And the second line, you go up to here. Keep the left hand way in the background. You come back down. Yeah. Third line, you're moderately loud. The left hand is very soft. Fourth line, come down or at the end of the third line. Moderately soft, which is a little softer than you were. Top of page 33, you're starting out moderately loud and you're going to go up to loud for the third measure. So watch out. The left hand's in the background. Loud here, and the poco retardando or poco, slow down a little bit, and then the second line is poco meno mosso, means a little less motion or slower. Well, you slowed down already, so just stay there. However fast you slow down. They don't give you an off-tempo or anything. That just says less. In my opinion, that's an error. You should have, it's an interpretation. If you want to stay slower, you're going to stay slower for the whole thing until the end where you get even slower. But in my opinion, I would speed this back up. So it's a gradual speed up. It's not all of a sudden I'm back to the speed. I just gradually speed up. And the third line started. And by the end of that line, the last measure, I'm back to the original speed. Hang on to that for a bit till it feels right. And then the last line, you're going to get softer throughout, see the and then you're going to retard at the end. So I do it like a measure at a time. So moderately loud, moderately soft, moderately, or soft, I'm sorry. And they say you're soft there. I got soft a little sooner than that, and I'm very soft. Don't use the soft pedal, that's cheating. Do it with the hands. A little bit about the right hand. This is the last line on page 33. I missed it before. You're here. That D is tied for the first two measures. You don't play it again. You hold it down and just change here. And now the G is tied, so now here. And then you're going here. So again, it's here to here, here. It's a minor thing, but these minor things can make all the difference in the world as the music gets a little more involved. So I encourage you to find these and do them. So it's here. You want to slow that roll at the end down. I can even retard during the roll. I can roll it slower as I go up. It's all interpretation and feel. If I played this 10 times, I play it different every time because I'm experimenting, I'm feeling the music. It keeps it fresh every time if it's different. Now they've added pedal, and we do need pedal in certain places, but we don't want a lot of pedal because it'll smear everything up. So we want to watch out for that. It's going to be overlapping pedals, so the hands are going to do their things first, and then the pedal lags behind them. Now, there's no pedal at the beginning, of course. There's just let the hands do it. So forth. Then you get to the third line. Now it's different, and we're going to overlap pedal. Now this gets a bit blurry here. But if we change the pedal on every beat, it would take it out. There. The problem is we lose this note in the left hand. We want this note throughout. Because if you pedal the whole measure, you get it. So that note sounds throughout the whole measure. So if you change it on each beat, you need to finger pedal that first note, like we were doing at the beginning. Hold it down. So I think now, at the top of page 33, they're not pedaling here. I don't know why. In my opinion, that should be pedaled too. I don't see, it's too choppy otherwise. But I'd change it on every beat. Just finger pedal the first note in the left hand. This is the beginning of page 33. Second line, even more important, it's slowing down, you got more time to hear the blurriness. So pedal every beat, but finger pedal the first note in the left hand. Now, second line, third measure on page 33 in the left hand. If you're going to finger pedal the first note, we got to change the fingering because I can't finger pedal it if I use fifth finger here. I got to hold it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3 or 4. 4 is better. 3's okay. And for the other one, the thumb's going to play both notes. This way I'm finger pedal. That's okay. But this allows me to change the pedal on each beat and I get rid of the blurriness. Then at the end of the line, lift up, it's a new phrase. So it's... And here, I change it on the first two beats here. But I'm finger pedaling the first note. And again, I'm pedaling every note, but I'm finger pedaling the left hand, the first beat. Now, when you get to the fourth line, you're building up to that fortissimo. This is like the climax of the piece. Now you can leave it down because we want all of this. And that is the right hand. The left hand stay in the background here, but I'm finger pedaling that anyway. Right there. And then when you've recovered from that, go on. And get soft. and slow down there. And don't pedal that last line except for the last measure, please. I go ahead and pedal it. The last measure, I put the pedal down after I play the notes, the chords, put it down and leave it down. Here, and then the pedal and the hands come up together. Something to that effect. As far as speed goes, well, Andante Moderato is a casual, moderate speed. You have to feel it. Go listen to recordings of it, and don't just listen to one recording. Listen to multiple people doing it, because they'll do it differently. And that's the adventure to me, is hearing all these differences. Wow, you can do all these different things, and yet they're all singing the same piece. Yeah, so don't copy me. You have to get into it and feel it for yourself.